The views expressed on this program are those of the commenters alone. They do not represent the views or opinions of Valley News Live, our parent company, or our advertisers.
Welcome back. Tonight in the Hot Box live from Bismarck, from the great state of North Dakota, our Attorney General Wayne Stenjum. Mr. Stenjum, thanks for joining me today. I want to jump right in here about your opinion last week about the NDSU grant for sex education. Obviously, NDSU said no. You came out on Thursday and said, wait a second, our opinion differs here. How and why would your opinion about this differ from NDSU's counsel, Chris Wilson's decision about this grant?
I don't know that my opinion differed from theirs, but I think they were looking for something that was definitive. And of course, when somebody obtains an official opinion from the Attorney General, then there's some protections that ensue as a result of properly following the advice of the Attorney General. And I think that's why they wanted a formal opinion. The opinion itself had to do with a rather simple question, and that is that this enactment from 1979, which was brought to the court's attention, ruled unconstitutional by the district court, and then appealed to the Eighth Circuit, who held that that enactment was unconstitutional as a violation of the Supremacy Clause. And so the question was asked of me, is there anything left of that statute? And the opinion that I issued was that based upon what the court said, that it appeared to me there's nothing really left of the statute. The court was invited to rewrite that statute to save some of the provisions of it, but the court declined, saying that it's not its job as a court, it's a judicial function, and it's not its job to fulfill a legislative function of rewriting the statute. And so that's why I gave the opinion to the Board of Higher Education or to the university system that I didn't think there was anything left of that statute after it had worked its way through the courts.
Now, Mr. Stenjum, you just mentioned you're not sure if it was actually a different opinion or not, according to NDSU's counsel, and yet this was awarded back in September. Why would they wait until January to say, wait a second, we're not sure if this is legally right for us, we're going to put a kibosh on this now, rather than back in September?
You know, I'm certainly not sure. I'm aware of the distress and the turmoil that resulted on campus after all of those issues came to the forefront. All I know is that I was asked what I thought was a relatively simple legal question on January 31st. That's when it came to my attention, and so that's when I did what the Constitution requires of me, which is to issue an opinion.
So again,
and why there was a delay, I really can't. I can't really offer any opinion on why it took so long.
Again, if this is such a simple legal decision, why couldn't NDSU's counsel, Chris Wilson, then make the accurate one?
Well, they could certainly have brought it to my attention. I think part of the concern, and it's important to be certain about this, is that when North Dakota courts have held that if the Attorney General issues an opinion to a state agency, that it carries with it certain protections, and that is that anybody who relies on that advice is protected. And I think there was some legitimate concern here because not only did we have the enactment with a question existing about its continued effectiveness, but there also was a criminal penalty. And so I think there was some nervousness that probably ensued as a result of the fact that nobody wanted to involve anybody in a potential criminal lawsuit. That's when the issue came to my attention, and of course I did what the Constitution requires of me in these instances, which is to issue the opinion that I did issue.
But doesn't the timing strike you? I mean, look, we all know that NDSU, I'm sure, has got a good vetting process for grants. This grant came through in September of 2012. Now you get into our legislative session time. You look at our legislative body, as we all know what's been taking place here, a lot of lifehood bills, pro-life bills in our legislature. Is there a possibility, is there a chance that President Brashani from NDSU put a stop to this because it was associated with Planned Parenthood and he was concerned about his funding for the higher ed system and for NDSU?
Well, you know, you're asking me something about which I don't have any facts, and so I'm really without any ability to issue an opinion because I simply don't know what happened, and this is a question that perhaps would be better posed to him or counsel at NDSU and not of me, because I simply don't know.
I can respect that. I want to read something for you, Mr. Stenjum. This is after, obviously, your decision. If we can bring this graphic up, please. But this is from the president and CEO of Planned Parenthood Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota, Sarah Stowe, hopefully I'm saying her name correctly, and she had this to say. She said, yesterday's news marks a decisive warning to North Dakota officials and politicians nationwide who would seek to prevent teens from sex education and life skills education by Planned Parenthood educators. Politics should never interfere with health care or education. Your comments, sir?
Well, I haven't seen that until just this very second. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know that anyone ought to read anything further into it than what it is that I said in my opinion. And all that I was asked to opine on was the question of what is the status of that particular statute in light of the rulings that came from the Federal District Court and then ultimately from the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals. And I issued my opinion accordingly, and I don't know that that at this point I could, or that anyone should read anything more into it than that.
That's why I was shocked when she said that this is a warning to North Dakota officials and politicians nationwide. Attorney General Wayne Stensham, thank you so much for your time, and we'll have you back on in the near future.
Oh, I hope so, Chris. Thank you very much. Appreciate the chance to be with you.
Thank you very much. You can stay close.
Stay warm.
We will try. Lots more coming up. And as always, love to know your thoughts. You agree with Wayne Stensham's decision on this? Was it obviously, it looks like legally the right thing to do, but do you agree with us? Let us know your thoughts and feedback at 630pov.com. When we come back, do you think taxpayer dollars should be used to fight for the PR of the diversion? That's next right here on 630 Point of View.